I've been postponing this video for a long time because my creative process is kinda messy, but a lot of you have asked for it, so today I'll show you what goes on in my brain when I start a creative project, my thought process, what happens behind the scenes, and how I create a piece of content for the internet. This video is brought to you by Milanote. Alright, without further ado, first choose your vehicle, analog or digital. This is a question I get asked all the time. There is no right answer. For me, it is both. Can't live without one or the other. I have notebooks I carry everywhere I go because you never know when ideas will strike. You may be on your commute, shopping for groceries, working out, walking, showering, you never know. And when you do get ideas, it makes sense to record them, and I find this little notebook the best way to do it because it's pocketable. I don't want to be the guy at the gym with an iPad taking notes. Why not your cell phone, dude? Good question. It's not the same. Cell phones are distracting, notebooks are not. The truth is you need to be a little bit bored to think creatively. And something weird happens in your brain when you put pen to paper. The feeling is great, but also there are plenty of studies that show that it makes you smarter, more creative, and it'll help produce more ideas. However, for editing information, technology wins. So a mixture of analog and digital it is. That's the magic of the creative life. You can tailor your workflow however suits you best. When you have all your crazy ideas ready to produce, it's time to transfer to a digital medium. My app of choice is Milanote. If you watch my content, you know I am a Notion guy and I use Notion every day to plan my days and my life, but when it comes to creative execution, Notion is very limited, starting with the fact that you can't draw on Notion. Seriously, Notion? On Milanote, you have an infinite canvas where you can draw and you'll have access to these amazing templates for any artistic practice. Whether you are a designer, photographer, filmmaker, architect, writer, podcaster, you name it, they have it. Milanote is a great tool for people like me, weird people. Phase 1. Exploration. This is the most important stage of any creative process because without an idea you have nothing. Quote-unquote creative. If you think you're not creative, you're wrong. We are all creative. Give kids crayons and paper and see what happens. They play. Create. If you want to be creative, it is as simple as going back to childhood. Let yourself play again. Allow it, fam. So to get things going, I usually start with a mood board, a collection of different images, looks, colors, elements I like and want to replicate. The video is about this moment. That moment when you're in the shower and you get an idea and you think, wow, this is great. So you capture it. These are images that have a similar look of that flow and resonate with my process. I think about how I want my little movies to look and feel like, and I go from there. In this stage, you're free to play, collect whatever you like, let your mind wander, you'll be surprised by the outcome. Now, with the look and feel of your idea, it's time to dive deep. Brainstorming, baby! Whether you are doing research online, reading books, watching movies or videos, checking out similar content, thinking about how to do it better, more unique, coming up with stories, finding the right music, and basically any element you can link to the idea, I personally get a lot of inspiration from books. While brainstorming, I play around with connections between ideas and concepts from these books, facts with personal stories, characters, locations. So for this particular project, there are 4 phases of the creative process: exploration, craft, producing the idea, and resistance. And all of them have a combination of different images, articles, little drawings, music that work in concert as the material that I am using to make this video work. So you start with a central idea and you end up with something like this. Seeing everything in one place like this is great to navigate all your content. Move things around, organize, add, subtract, incorporate visual elements and different perspectives to stimulate creativity. The objective here is not to mimic work but to collect everything that resonates with your idea to create something authentic, your own great work. Beware of the content you consume because this is where your idea is born. Now, the more time you spend here, the more material you're gonna have for your creative idea, but be careful. Too much information can be counterproductive. Hello, resistance. Resistance is anything that stops you from taking creative action, including interferes, procrastination, and self-doubt. It is most prominent when you're doing something that matters to you. Say you want to start a YouTube channel or finally write that book, but you never sit down to write. So you procrastinate, I'll do it tomorrow, day after day, and you never do it. The only way to beat resistance is by facing the fear head on. It will be uncomfortable, but resistance will fade and you build momentum. When you are in the zone, complete as many parts of the project as you can. Ride the wave. because eventually you hit roadblocks. Again, it is normal. Writer's block, no ideas. Sometimes the best way to engage is by disengaging. Sit down, do nothing. Don't take it too far though, it's all about balance. The 3-act framework. It is what writers use for books or movies. When it comes to video, this is how I like to structure my content. Start with a killer intro because in the world of video content you have less than 15 seconds to convince someone to watch the whole video. And if you're doing TikTok, the number goes down to 3, so invest as much time as you can designing the sequence for your intro. But that's not enough. Your story must have a re-engagement, something that opens the loop. A question, a setback. You want to intrigue your viewers. If you think about movies or stories, good stories, there is always someone like you or me, a regular human being trying to solve a problem, finding a solution and becoming a hero. That's life. That's why we relate to movies. If your story doesn't have a setback, it sucks. Act 2 is the setup, the body of the story. This is where you give most of the information you're planning to give, and then I like to use a second re-engagement to build up the climax. The story's conclusion. There should be an epic transformation. Doing this framework will help you know where to place the elements from your brainstorming session and prepare for the script. If the whole process of making art starts to sound daunting to you, don't think about how hard it is, think about the fun parts of the process. Think about how good they make you feel. While it is true that things can get challenging, for me, for example, is the crafting phase, coming next, the gear, shooting, being in front of the camera. I am actually extremely uncomfortable right now. It is important to understand that all the elements of the craft work in concert. If the exploration phase is the one with the energizing feeling, it is tempting to go back to it. But without the crafting phase, there wouldn't be art. A creative idea without execution is nothing, so work hard when you face challenges, but keep the fun part in mind. You will always be excited about your next project. Scripting. I like to write the scripts of my videos because I can edit the information I am going to present in front of the camera for better delivery. There is room for improvisation, of course. Some people just need talking points, but I find that the better I plan my scripts, the better the videos. Storyboards and shotlists. One of the things I love about my job, being an idiot online, is drawing the shots of my little movies, doodles, sketches, connecting visuals with narrative for a powerful storyline. If you like to work on an iPad, Milanote allows you to sketch and draw anywhere. And you can handwrite as well. If you are more into handwriting, but you want to have the digital text for editing later, this feature will be your best friend. Something I like to do while I do my storyboards is listen to music. Listening to the music I am going to use for hours on repeat. The same song. Give yourself time to really digest the music and you'll start to visualize the images you need to craft a powerful sequence. Trust me. Phase 2, craft. Things get serious here. Moving the gear, setting up scenes, making sure your settings are correct. This is the hardest for me because it is the technical part of the process and I am a one-man band. It's not that I find it boring, sometimes it's pretty exciting, like when you go to different locations. Making travel content is pretty cool because of that. This is when all the pre-production planning comes in handy. It'll make your life so much easier when it's time to shoot, because you'll know where to go at what time, what gear you need, how to place the cameras, the types of shots, the lighting, everything. It is pure execution with a plan. Gear doesn't matter. That's not true. Gear matters a lot. But if all you have is an iPhone, then learn how to use the iPhone and make art with the iPhone. Because if you have that mindset of when I get that camera, I'll finally start making content, you'll never make content, dude. Don't get obsessed with the fantasy of having that camera or that lens. Get obsessed with learning how to use the tools you already have. Get obsessed with the craft, light, storytelling, scripting, communication skills, color, editing, because that obsession will eventually lead to making good content, and that's what we all want to do. Good content, right? Now, to make your videos look better, like movies, it's all about light. Look for the right direction. Where is light coming from? That's the key ingredient to make your images look real, cinematic. For this particular scene, the light is coming from these windows, so the main light should be coming from the same direction. And if you don't have artificial light, just sit right next to the window. If there are practical lights in the scene like that lamp, you can use more lights and make it seem like the light is coming from that source. See the difference? Whether you're shooting with an iPhone or a pro camera, light makes all the difference. You can use movement to add energy or impact to a scene, but static shots with something moving in the frame are also powerful. You are free to play. If you're making videos for YouTube and you want people to feel like you're talking to them, like in front of them, use a wide-angle lens. It'll give this sense of proximity. Now, if you're telling a story and want to emphasize a certain feeling, get a close-up. See where I'm going? Think about your narrative and plan your shots according to what you want people to feel while watching your movie. That's why storyboards are so important. You don't want to just wing it if you want to create something powerful. Produce. This is where you put everything together, equally important to the other stages of the process, connecting narrative, images, and music. Everybody has a different editing workflow, but this is what works for me. I start with a rough cut, the A-roll and voiceover, then I place the music and B-roll, synchronize with the beats, add graphics or animations if I need to, and I'll have a rough sequence. After that, I edit the audio, the narrative, add sound effects, and adjust the music levels. Then I do color correction and grading, and that's it. Ship the product, baby. And make sure you do it. Shipping the product is as important as starting the project because you close the cycle, you finish, and that makes you a pro. Even if the video sucks, you are a pro. Then you move on to the next. Alright, that's it for this one, my friend. A bit messy, I know, but if you learned one or two things from my workflow, I am happy with that. I had a lot of fun making this video. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if I should make more content like this, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.